Good morning.
Hello.
How's week 2 of crazy NFT land treating you?
I'm seriously convinced nobody sleeps. You can't
Yeah.
tell me that they sleep because I know they don't. There's no way. Um, yeah, at least I can say that it's like hasn't been slow because I actually don't know the difference, but it's been insane. There's a lot going on. A lot going on.
Indeed. Yeah, it's been a while. You're also coming in like at the time where like everything's kind of peak mania. I hope it does calm down. At some point, we have these peaks and valleys, and so hopefully things calm down so people can catch up. There's a lot of rumors that after the other side launches, it's just going to suck all the liquidity out. So hopefully some people can take a summer vacation, but right now it's not looking like it.
I mean, I don't know anything, so there's there's that. Um, well, let's go ahead and talk about what is Sol? Like, what is it? Sol?
Solana.
Solana. Why are people jumping, or like, why am I seeing so much talk about this before, like today? Haven't seen it before today or yesterday.
Yeah, so this is one of the things. Like, there's a ton of different blockchains. I'm not a Solana expert, and I tell everyone in our Discord that like I'd like to learn more about Solana. There's when you think about like the altcoins season and everything that happened with just like the invention of all these crazy blockchains.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm wrong, don't yell
Don't
at me too
cancel us.
much. Just correct it in the comments. But Solana is a venture backed blockchain. There are parts of it that people enjoy. There's parts that people don't. There's a lot of purists that think that Solana's the devil, and there's a lot of folks that love it. It has gone down. There have been some instances where if you approve access to your wallet, you can get rugged. So people have lost some stuff, and so those types of things have made me hesitant. I also tend to be an Ethereum maxi, so I
You don't
typically
say.
I stick to primarily Ethereum, and then I like Tezos personally for other NFTs because it makes me feel like 888 because everything's so cheap. But there's a lot of people that are really excited about it, and so you'll see kind of these peaks and valleys where these projects, especially in our Discord, there's a lot of Solana fans that are in our Discord that talk about it, and I'd love to learn more from them about the blockchain, and I think maybe have one or two or a few of them on to share
Mm-hmm.
their insights and thoughts because I don't suspect that Mike and Rob and John are going to spend much time in Solana exploring it. But that being said, for people that do have the time, there I've seen people make a lot of money in NFTs on Solana, and
Mm-hmm.
OpenSea adding Solana to their platform is really interesting as well.
So was it not on there before?
It wasn't. They had their own marketplaces. They teased it like a year ago that they were going to add it. They've teased that they're going to add Tezos, and so they, eventually, hopefully, OpenSea does add enough blockchains to make it interesting. But one of the biggest challenges that people have is that the conversion between either a stable coin like USDC to even like Ethereum to Polygon takes like 45 minutes. How do you buy and sell and convert and do all these things? That's going to be the tricky part for a lot of these projects. And I think that's why we don't see more of those NFTs on OpenSea yet. The other thing is that there's a lot of scams right now on Solana. And so there's a lot of caution in terms of kind of what projects are good. And so as OpenSea opens up their marketplace to more and more blockchains, it's exponentially harder for them to manage, the scam projects, manage all those types of things. So I think that's delaying part of the process as well.
What does Coinbase opening their market do for a blockchain like this? Is that beneficial to them, or does it really matter?
I don't think Coinbase is going to focus on Solana. right now. I think like their number one priority is the Ethereum NFTs. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, once again, correct me. I haven't seen it, but once again, like there's so much going on right now. Like we always have people in the comments, like on the happy hour and the Tech Tuesday, talk about this project, talk about that project, and like there's just so much that we can't be experts on. Even the Ethereum based projects, we're not experts on, and so if people do want us to do deep dives in projects, like join the Discord. Discord.gg/NFT culture. And we have a suggestions channel. Like, tell us what you want us to talk about, and we'll do the research.
Roger, Roger. Okay, let's do some drops. So, Inferno. That looks
Inferno.
really fun. Really
Yeah,
fun.
I've been excited about Inferno for quite a while. And I do believe that we did have some whitelist opportunities for the NFT culture community a while back for Inferno. But when you think about kind of what the project represents, there's 3 stages of the Mint Pass that are all coming out today, based
Mm-hmm.
on your involvement in the Discord and all those things. And so, yeah, today at 9 a.m. Central, phase 1 is minting for the keys. Phase 2 is minting at noon or 11 Central, and then this evening the pre-sale minting is going to be available. Yeah, this is one of those projects that is promising a lot, but when you look at kind of their what they're doing on Twitch and some of those things that they're doing when they're trying to build out, a AAA type of game, and you look at what they're really focusing on, it's one of those projects that for me is particularly interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, like everything's not financial advice, but I think the fact that it's pay and earn PvP dark fantasy type stuff, I think
Mm-hmm.
that there's a lot of upside and potential. So it's a project that's just been on a lot of folks' radars for a long time that I think does have some interesting dynamics, and if they can deliver on the roadmap, it's got a lot of potential upside.
Yeah, no, I was. I watched the teaser like 3 times, and I was like, oh. And then I watched it some more. I think it's going to be interesting to see because it is more game-like to me versus anything else I've seen so far. But that's probably because I don't know anything. Um, but it also gives me like Lord of the Rings vibes, and
Yeah, I
my
mean
favorite.
that's the thing. It's like it's got the for gamers. It feels like Dark Souls, or even Elden Ring in some
Mm-hmm.
instances. And I think like this is the big thing. I talked about it with Mike. I talk about it a lot. That like with what heck, even with what Ice Cube's doing and Tom Bilyeu, like I don't think that the AAA studios are going to catch on to NFTs in time. Like there's this article that just came out from Mahjong, where like on Bloomberg, where like Minecraft, a bunch of Minecraft folks are like anti NFTs. I'm gonna paste it here in the chat so people can go read it if they want
Mm-hmm.
after this. But it's so funny to me that like people are so anti kind of NFTs, especially in these spaces, and they don't know what they don't know. And
Mm-hmm.
when you think about like all these people that are just basically saying that they don't like non fungible tokens, and when you think about from Bloomberg, January 2022. Developers remain skeptical on Web3 in the future. Like 70% are not interested in NFTs. And for me, it's like, why wouldn't you be? And like the Occam's razor for me is like, the only reason they wouldn't be is because it gives too much control to the owner of the NFT and the institutions that own it. Or there's just so much FUD, there's so much noise, there's so much stuff out in the market today about NFTs that's negative, that they haven't done the research to realize a lot of those benefits. So it's going to be interesting to see if that number changes over time. But once again, going back to my hypothesis, it's like if you think about the big corporations, why would they want to give the value to the people that own the
Mm-hmm.
NFT? They want to maintain that value. They want to maximize their profits no matter what for their shareholders and everybody else. And so going back to something like Inferno, they're building it first for the community. And so these types of games like Crypto Raiders, and others, I think that's where a lot of the potential upside is. So I'm a big fan of Inferno. I hope it's successful. I hope it lays the groundwork for future innovation in the space by being successful.
Yeah, I think, I mean, going back to, that 70% of people who are just don't care. Um, in my world, I think it has a lot to do with people not taking enough time. Like, they don't want to research it. It's a time issue for them. And it's also a change issue. Like, people have gone through so much change in the past 2 years that adding one more thing to change is just overwhelming and resistance. And so we'll see. But that's crazy that 70%. I'm like, there's a whole world here already. Like, where are these other people?
Yeah, like that goes back to like how early are we?
Yeah.
Right. Like we know we're early, but is it like we're too early? Like because when you do think about it, and I think like the media doesn't do a good job.
Oh,
Like
there's no, yeah.
I'm trying to like onboard like in real life friends and like they're
IRL
sending
friends.
me these yeah, they send these articles about, and the rule there is don't try.
Really?
Like it's too hard. No, but if there's so much FUD that like all the media, the only thing that the media is saying about NFTs now is that like Bored Ape Yacht Club lost $10 million because some
It's only
bozos
negative.
clicked an Instagram
Yeah.
link, right? Like that's not NFTs. That's like people making mistakes. That's OPSEC. That's like security and like
Human error.
yeah, like and so when you do think about everything else, like why don't they talk about Steph Curry, having a Bored Ape Yacht Club PFP for a long time? Why don't they talk about Big Three? Why don't they talk about like the other things? There's no positivity coming from the media, and it's just easy for people to be negative that way.
Need to start some chaos on it. Any other things that are coming today that you were just kind of
Like the imaginary ones looks interesting. I'm not going to pull it up
yeah.
because it's got sound and I mess up sound all the time when we're doing these. But I think like the imaginary ones looks interesting. It's looking more and more interesting to me as the basically what happened was, and I need to edit like this, but essentially what happened is like all the good projects that we talked about yesterday are put in our Discord yesterday for the alpha announcements. The Lunatics, Crazilla, Imaginary Ones, they're all doing their public mint today, and so like those are the projects that and that doesn't happen often where it's like there's not really any
timeline.
other
Yeah.
good projects that like are interesting. I mean, for me, I'm gonna keep an eye on the Crazilla, and like that one I might go in on, but personally, it's just that time where everyone's in a holding pattern until Saturday at noon when we buy the other side land. That's about it.
Everyone has their timers set. Everyone's ready. No one's gonna sleep. Okay, Bears. What?
I haven't spent enough time with OK Bears.
I did.
I mean,
I have I did yesterday. I get the
what,
concept. I just don't. I mean, people love them. Like, they're flying off the press. They're soaring, in my opinion. But I don't know.
yeah, I'm trying to pull it up. Yeah, so I mean, like, it's interesting because like I'm looking, and once again, I don't know very much about Solana,
Mm-hmm.
but the fact that like they're going, Sol is $98, and these are going for 60, 60 Sol right now. These are going for 2 ETH, right? And so like this also says like how like I don't know what I don't know, and like
Mm-hmm.
like that's why like don't trust anybody. Like you have to do your own research and you have to learn about it because it's on Solana, I didn't pay attention to it. But then you
Yeah.
think about the value that some people got out of it. It's like, wow, this is trading higher than Akutars right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you look at these bears, like, and they look interesting to me. Like they look kind of like a combination of the gutter cats. They got a little bit of the Board Ape Yacht Club vibes. So it's going to be interesting to see. But once again, like I just don't know enough about um, this space to be able to comfortably talk about it. But I'm sure a lot of people are making a lot of money. It's already moved, 180,000 Solana, which if you just do the math, that's it's moved $180,000 in secondary already. And then the other thing that's interesting is the distribution, right? It's already almost up to 6,000 people of 10,000 items, and so what that tells me is that there's a lot of people, and I've seen the research. I just don't keep it in my mind, but there are a lot of people that are actively trading Solana. It is more, there is a lot of transactability,
Mhm.
so it is definitely like something that I need to keep a closer eye on moving forward.
Okay. Well, I have it pulled up all day, all day.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
the other,
briefly, since
yeah.
since Chad's asking about it, I'll talk about what I think I know and what I actually know and what I don't know. I don't know much. There's still so many rumors like going out. I saw this really compelling thread that and it's funny because like like when you get into your cliques and your clubs and your little groups, like you start becoming like blindly loyal to them. And like I've had people tell me that like I'm an idiot for like blindly trusting them, and others that like are really really interested in kind of what's happening with it. But there's this guy named Willie Bullish. I recommend everyone follow Willie, the DGen, and he's got some interesting takes. Once again, I've heard from people that he's wrong, but who's right? Is he right, or are the others right? And when you think about some of the stuff that he says, he's presenting some really interesting use cases. So, like the thing that people said he was wrong about was basically like how the whitelist pieces were going to happen. If I can find the tweet, I need to back up and see if I can find it really quickly. But essentially, the thing people were trying to poke him at, and Gary Vee made a comment about it on his thing too. Here it is. Was that the big frustration now that everyone's having with the other side is that um, you had to KYC your wallets to be eligible to buy land. So if you think about it from this perspective, the fact that we're going to have whitelists for, it's been pretty confirmed that it's going to be circular. Once again, this is all rumor and speculation, and it's like trusting sources and everything else. This is my best guess based on what we know. All that being said, we did announce that Nike was buying Artifact before anybody else. So when we think about the circular elements of what's going to happen with the other side, it's pretty generally accepted that it is going to be circular. And obviously, like Board Ape Yacht Club is going to be the center of the universe, then mutants, and then
You don't
CryptoPunks,
say.
and then yeah. So I mean, that part makes sense. But what makes less sense is are they, and they're going to provide details soon, hopefully. But do you have to transfer an NFT to a KYC wallet if you don't have it? So for all this whitelist stuff to be factual, a lot of things have to happen, right? Because people are going to want to buy land, but they don't want a KYC because
Yeah.
KYC means that like the IRS can go look at all of it. And so then people have to say, okay, did I cut KYC wallets that don't have these NFTs in them, and then do I have to transfer my NFT to that wallet to be able to purchase? And that's where a lot of people are like fudding Willie about this. But you can see in our buddy Sniperbot made a comment on it. Big fan. Gary V commented, Timus,
Yeah.
and then really good friend of mine Corey was a skeptic on this, right? So that's one of those things. The issue here is that great, that's awesome. The issue here is that what does this mean in terms of like actually what's going to happen? No one knows. And the problem with these like guessing games is that the price of ape is fluctuating between 17 and 19 right now, right? Like that's a 15 to 20% change in the price, and all this is priced in ape. So there's just a lot of speculation. Then there's the rumors about the Coda, which the Coda are going to be a new 10K PFP project that are going to be randomly associated with land. And then there's going to be all these, screenshots that are starting to come out in terms of minerals and resources. So when you think about like a universe that's going to be being built, you think about RPG elements and you think about everything else. Once again, I know people that are buying 100 ETH of ape to buy as much land as they can. I'm not, because I don't have anywhere near that at all. But it is interesting to see how many people are going full send on this. So we'll keep an eye out.
It makes me anxious because of everything that's happened recently, as far as like the contracts and then things just not working. And I'm rooting for them, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm going to be in the back corner, like sunglasses, hat on, just kind of watching. Mainly because it is such a big deal. This is huge, and everyone's excited about it. So, oh,
Indeed.
oh.
All right, you're going to ask another question before we wrap.
So, last question, and I've thought about this for a while. What was your like aha moment? This is where I'm supposed to be right now in this space. Do you have one?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of when I started to get. Once you get it, like once you see it, you can't unsee it, and it's really kind of hard because I used to be able to describe to people like pretty succinctly what an NFT meant to me, and like as I get deeper and deeper into NFTs, I've lost that ability to translate like why NFTs are so important. But simply just describing it as digital ownership, talking about everyone says like I can just right click save as, and you can take the most detailed picture of the Mona Lisa in the world, and you can buy the same frame, and but it's still not the Mona Lisa, right? So
Mhm.
like you still can't derive that value. So all those types of things, like once I started to understand that, that was my aha moment. So my real aha moment was like we were all in my backyard October before last with my buddy Rob. You guys know Rob, Steve, basically all my friends of 20 plus years, Mike and Cody, Jonathan, and Rob was just telling us about NFTs, and Rob's always early to everything. And I was like, no, digital art, that's stupid. Like, why would I buy a picture of a boombox? And like, it was just one of those things. Like once we started talking through it and we started going through everything, it started making more and more sense. And at the time, it's funny because it's kind of changed a little bit. So like this talk track doesn't work as well. But like at the time, my oldest son didn't care at all about Pokemon or Pokemon cards. He'd play the games, but he didn't care about Pokemon cards. So he loved Fortnite though. And so he loved begging me every month for money for skins and all those things. And it's like, man, like when Fortnite 2 comes out, all these skins are going to go away. Why would we spend money just on cosmetics? And then once I understood that for him, like it was real, like the skins and the access and those types of things, it's like, wow, like imagine like it's real to you and you own it. And then like once I made that correlation of I owning a digital asset, for me it's like, okay, I'm all in. So then we just started playing with it and exploring and learning more about it. That was my aha moment, because I think it's inevitable, like it's gonna come. It's
Mhm.
just, do we survive this phase of all the crypto bros, trying to maximize profit? And so I think this era is just going to be the beginning of everything. We've proven that you can own stuff with Ethereum, which helps crypto and everything else. So now it's just, can we sustain long enough for the rest of the world to catch up?
That's interesting that you said like your son and it was real to him. And I don't think people think that way because when you're a child, like you don't understand how the world works, and so what's in front of you is real, even if it's maybe not. So interesting. See, if more people thought that way, I feel like NFTs would take off if they just accepted that fact. So
Yeah, I mean that's it's one of those things for me that like the internet is a fad, like all those things. And then you
It's not
just
going to
look
stick.
at, yeah, and then you start to think about kids just spending more and more time digitally and everything else. It's like they're gonna they're gonna want to own it, and they
Mhm.
are gonna own it, and it's gonna be really interesting because at some point one of these IPs, probably Bored Apes, are gonna get big enough um, that someone like Unreal Engine, someone like Fortnite is going to want to include some of those skins in the game. And then once that chasm gets crossed, it's over, right? Because then why would I buy Fortnite skins when I can play a skin that I actually own? Like all these things are going to happen. And I do think simultaneously, I think like Unreal is, they've talked about the metaverse, they're
Mhm.
enabling the tools and everything. So I have a feeling that for their IP, they're going to try and create their own projects that now. I think what's going to happen is like eventually they're going to come out with an NFT version of their items, and then right after that start making it accessible. And so essentially then Fortnite becomes a pseudo metaverse by itself once that starts to happen. It's a metaverse with, on rails where you can only play the game,
Yeah,
but how can you say it's not a metaverse? And so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
my mind is spinning as it does, but I think we've talked everyone's ear off. So thanks for sharing your aha moment.
Absolutely.
I'm
Well,
gonna get
and
everyone's. Don't worry. That was just my first.
heck yeah. And yeah, if you're looking for the drops, join our Discord. Make sure you like and subscribe. It's fun. We might not be here tomorrow, but we will be back on Friday. And everyone take care.
Bye, guys.